After my recent axe throwing video, a lot of you wanted to know how do I get into knife throwing. Let me show you the basic techniques. First, you're going to need a throwing knife like this. Cold steel, what's it called? Pro Flight Sport. Do not go with one of these kunais. They are everywhere on the internet. I think they were used in the movie Expendables. I have not seen it. They are too light. Typically, you want a weight around 300 grams. Now, these throwing knives are typically made from a relatively low-grade steel. If it's corrosion-free, 420 steel is often used, which is relatively soft. Or, as here in this case, some carbon steel, which is not rust-free, so you regularly need to oil the knife. The reason why you want a relatively flexible steel is to prevent the banana effect. Because if you repeatedly stick these knives, they tend, if they are too hard and too brittle, they tend to flex into one direction and keep that flex. But you want a completely straight throwing knife. So in this case, lower grade material is actually better. And while it is possible to stick these, they are sharp on both edges. It's easy to hurt yourself, and you're going to need a lot of force because of the low weight. And if you keep throwing repeatedly, that really hurts the arm. It's much easier, that might sound a bit counterintuitive, with a heavier knife. So as you can see here, I am very close to the target, and especially with these well-balanced knives, it is possible to throw them like a spear, like so, but that is not how knives are typically thrown. So before we get into the short distance no spin technique, I want to show you how you can get a bit of a feel for the knife. Just take it in your hand like so, go close to the target and make an upward movement, and just let the knife go when you're close to the target, about 15 centimeters. This way you will get a feeling for the knife and its balance and how fast it rotates. You see a bit more force and it sticks easily. This one really is a beast. And now for the no spin technique, there are many ways to grip a knife, and over time you will have to find out your favorite version. So the standard grip is taking the knife like so. You know, this part here rests in your hand and you use your finger to guide the knife. Why is this so important? A no spin means that you're going to throw the knife and it's not going to rotate. For longer distances, you need the spin throws typically, but in the beginning start with no spin. Now, the main mistake that a lot of people make, including me when I started out, you might think that if you throw a knife like this, you let it go in this position, but you don't. Because no matter how you throw it, the knife will get a bit of a spin, and if you release it like so, it will simply turn over and hit the target like that. Let me show you. Now once again, I'm really close to the target. Watch what happens. No way to stick it. What you want to do instead is let the knife go in an angled position, somewhere between 30 or 45 and 90 degrees, depending on the distance and depending on your throwing style. Because while in flight, the knife will make this movement and then the tip will hit the target. Let me show you. Now there are two parameters to experiment with here. One is the distance and the other one is this angle. In order to achieve results, you want to throw as consistently as possible. So start with a fixed distance and find out which angle you need in order to stick that blade. And yes, especially with these heavier knives, it is possible to no spin throw even over longer distances. Let me show you. I want to let it go like this. And then it sticks. When you learn the technique, it's very helpful to have at least 3 identical knives, so you don't always have to walk back and forward. Because like I said, consistency is super important. And that's how you learn to throw a knife properly. First, you want to achieve consistency, and then it's time for the trick shots. Another good option is to make your own throwing knives. Just get a piece of construction steel, but you would need an electrical grinder and or a belt sander for that, or just go with this Gil Hims Pro Set. Now the shape of these knives makes it really easy to develop a good feeling for the angle very soon. Oh gosh, I need new targets. Definitely need new targets. Yesterday I found this Walter 80K, which means advanced throwing knife. And the reason why I try to use different knives and not always the same type is to become more flexible. Now, if you actually need knife throwing in a survival situation, you gotta take what's there. So it's the first time I'm having these. It's interesting, they have a bit of a chimping here. Let's see if we can stick them. No! Little more angle. Too much. So you see, you always need to find this out with a new set of knives. They don't stick too well either. Usually with a given distance, takes a couple of throws. Too much. Ah, that's it. Well, these knives turn relatively fast. So you see, I always tend to overthrow them. And another option would be to decrease the distance a bit. Because you see, it's all about the right angle. Throwing knives are not meant to live forever, but if you keep throwing regularly, get a good sharpening stone. They don't need to be sharp on the edges, but they need a pointy tip. Otherwise, they won't stick. And that's full spin. More about it next time.